today. I'm really glad you guys are here. I just want to do a quick shout out to all of you who have been my faithful viewers to these videos that I've been doing for Nutrisystem. You've followed me on my journey. Thank you for responding to those videos in the way that you guys have. You've really encouraged me to keep going because it is helping you, and that is the goal for all of these videos. Those who, you know, are in the same boat, struggling to lose weight and trying to just maybe get off these extra pounds. I heard somebody say yesterday that people are really struggling during this quarantine to keep the weight off, or people are packing on what they're calling corona pounds. And I thought, wow, you know, I think a lot of people, when they walk out of this, there's going to be a lot of heavier people than there were when they went into it. And I was actually on that same track the first 2 weeks of being quarantined. I wasn't working. I was home with my kids, and all I did was eat everything. I ate things I wouldn't even normally think about eating. It was just crazy, and I couldn't figure out why. I gained like 6 pounds in 2 weeks, and it was just not fun. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I don't do something about this, I'm gonna come out of this quarantine looking like an Oompa Loompa. I'm already heavy to begin with, and you guys may not be able to see that, you know, from this angle. In my next video, I'm gonna be showing you some before and after, so you'll be able to see some of what I'm talking about. I wanted to be one of those people that came out of this better than when I went into it. And not just physically, but spiritually and mentally as well. This has really given me a good time to slow down, think about some things that I've just not been able to do. I've just been so busy with life. And most of you who are watching this are probably in the same boat. You have kids, you have families, you have jobs, you have something that's pulling for your time constantly. And this has just been a really nice time to slow down and really consider what's going on. And also, you know, instead of sitting around and eating all day long, I realized that if I do that, I'm way more susceptible to any disease like cancer and diabetes and having high blood pressure, which I do have high blood pressure. I really need to get a handle on what's happening, and I chose to do Nutrisystem for that and see, okay, a couple different reasons. One, it sounded like an easy plan to me. I didn't have to eat bars and salads all day long. Thankfully, that was the number one thing that I thought, okay, well, this seems like it would work because it's real food. I'm still able to eat a cheeseburger. The Nutrisystem cheeseburger is obviously not like a McDonald's cheeseburger, but you know, just I don't feel like I would be missing out on food. So I chose Nutrisystem for that, but also because it's shipped to my door. I don't have to go to the grocery store and get it. And that's really nice. I still have to go shopping for the rest of my family, and most of you probably are the same way, but it's just nice for, especially if you don't have a family and you're not out, you know, you don't have to go out otherwise except for to grab a few items here and there, coffee and creamer and things like that, because that's what I live off of. So you may not drink coffee, but you know, I just feel like it's a really convenient plan. I really wanted to go out of the quarantine better than I went into the quarantine, not coming out going, wow, I just packed on the pounds and laid around and watched Netflix all day long. And although that is tempting, and I do have some binge times, I've really been intentional to get up off the couch and get outside, especially on days like this where you can see, oh my goodness, it's a beautiful day here in Tennessee. I'm super grateful for the weather, and the birds are chirping, neighbor's dog's barking, sorry about that. You know, there's a smell of wood in the air here where somebody's burning a fire nearby, and I just love it. I love it. So I'm just very grateful that I live in a place where I can get outside and enjoy some nature. And for those of you who are really stuck in an apartment building somewhere and just don't have the luxury of doing that, I am praying for you. I really am. But try and use this time to think about what is it that you can improve on, and not just in a physical sense, but how can you come out of this quarantine better than you went in? And there's so many things that you can do, and people that you can reach out to via the internet, which I know is not a very personal thing. You know, it would be so much more fun if you and I were sitting here together on my back patio and I could give you a cup of coffee and we could talk together. But this is the way that it is right now. And so I'm grateful that we do have social media. I'm grateful that we have platforms like YouTube. I'm grateful for those things, but they still tend to distract us if we're not using them for the right purposes, or if we're overusing them. Having all this time back where I'm not as busy running around chasing what I call chasing my tail constantly. I'm a mother of 3. I have a 17-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And I'm usually just kind of, you know, running, and I work a full-time job. And not running like on a treadmill, obviously, because that's why, you know, I need Nutrisystem, but I'm running like life is just constantly going, and I know you guys can relate. But, you know, just thinking, I'm having some extra time here where I can just sit and reflect and think about something. So I'm going to utilize that time, begin to walk through this journey of, you know, what is going on with me with food. And I thought, you know, if I'm going to spend the amount of money that I'm spending on Nutrisystem, I'm not going to waste my time losing all this weight just to gain it back. I've always been kind of a diet hopper. I would hop from one diet to the other. And the reason I did that was I was finding that I couldn't stick to anything long enough to see results. And if it wasn't instant results, I would give up really quickly and want to run to the very next thing and think, well, maybe that will give me instant results. And I've also always picked diets that were very extreme. You could lose a lot of weight really quickly, but I could lose 10 pounds in 3 or 4 days, which I've done before, and that's not healthy. This is the cycle I've lived in for the last 17 years of my life. I'd lose weight, I'd lose it really fast, and then I'd say, okay, look at me, look how well I'm doing. I'm gonna, you know, I start to feel like supermodel, and then I go eat a Snickers bar and I reward myself with a cheeseburger or whatever it is. I go find food as the reward. Look how well you're doing. You can eat whatever you want today. And then that today turns into 2 days, 3 days, and then I'm fell off the cliff and I'm eating junk food constantly. And there's like, where I would love to eat a salad prior, I'm like, who cares? I'm not eating that. You know, I want something else. Deciding to do Nutrisystem, do I want long-term success, or do I just want a short-term quick loss again? And even though it's not as quick as the other fad diets I've tried in my lifetime, or supplements, drinks, shakes, all kinds of things, or do I want this to be a long-term, lasting change that is not just showing up on the outside of me, but it shows up on the inside, where it's changing the way that I'm thinking, not just about food, but even about the way I see myself when I look in the mirror. Because you know what, girls, we could lose a ton of weight and still look in the mirror and say, she's so fat. I see it all the time. I've done it. I lost 100 pounds in, I guess it took me about 4 years. I was about 230 pounds. I got down to 128 pounds in a 4-year span. And I remember when I was looking in the mirror at 128 pounds, I'll never forget it. I looked in the mirror and I was like, geez, you're so fat. You know, it's this false image we have of ourselves. And I have to be healed from that. Not had to, I'm walking through healing in that area. I still am. I have to be healed from that. And it has to be more than a physical change. So I think the reason that I've not seen real lasting results is when I've been doing it wrong. Just that quick, instant, I need it instant done, microwave, you know, instant gratification, instant results. And also, and because I'm not sticking to it, but also because I have an unhealthy view of food, and I have an unhealthy view of myself. So I have a lot to work on. You could do this for the rest of your life. You could diet and go back and forth and gain and lose and gain and lose, and never really truly be healed on the inside of what's causing all these issues with your body. And then you end up with metabolism issues, thyroid problems, you know, your body's in constant starvation mode, your cells are struggling, you're susceptible to disease, way more susceptible to disease when your body's just like out of whack constantly, and it's not sure if you're gonna feed it or when you feed it, so it holds on to everything, and then it's this battle. You being me here, when I say you, I'm really talking about me, but you know, it's this battle that I didn't want to be in anymore. So I just had to decide I need to look at food differently. This Nutrisystem diet, although it has been a phenomenally successful diet for me, I'm down 17 pounds. I'm so excited about that so far. And again, I'll do an update in my next video, before and afters, and my total progress. But just for motivation's sake today, you know, I just really thought about, it can't be from just the outside. It has to be from the inside out. This has to be a change if it's going to last, from the inside out. So God, I had to ask him, what is this that I need to look at? What is it that I need to focus on? What is it that I need healed of? Please reveal it to me, because he knows our hearts more than we know our hearts. And he showed me how a lot of times people will fill a void in their heart, just a feeling of something missing or a hole, where maybe you've had a traumatic event happen to you. It's just this emptiness that you feel that you try to fill with something. And sometimes it could be sex, alcohol, tobacco, food, it can be television, it can be anything you try to fill this empty hole, this void with. But truly the only thing that's going to fill that void is God. And if we keep trying to fill it with the wrong things, it's going to just go in and out just like a funnel. It's just an endless open funnel that everything you feed into it is just coming right back out the other end, and you're still left feeling the same way. And he showed me that I haven't done it with alcohol, tobacco. I'm not doing it with TV. I'm doing it with food. I'm taking all of my time and energy and focusing it on food, like it's my source of happiness or source of joy. And he is my only source of joy. And so he showed me how that from childhood, he just started revealing these things to me. I'm blogging about it currently. I'm not finished with it, but I will be, and you can go check that out at my blog, and I'll post that link in the description below if you'd like to read about just a little history of me and some food issues I've had that you may relate to, and you may be able to recognize some of those things also and say, okay, like, yeah, I need healing from that as well. And just, it is such an individual journey, you guys. You're going to have to go to the Lord for yourself and ask him to help you to figure out what it is that you're struggling with and why. Why is it that it's been so hard for you to lose weight, keep it off? Beyond laziness. Now, there's some of that in my history as well. I've just been straight up too lazy, and I'm like, I don't really care. But I didn't want to have to be on a diet where I felt like I couldn't eat some of the things that I like still. So I didn't want to be stuck just eating salad for the rest of my life. That's just not, fun to me. That leads me to my next point. I looked at food as though it was fun. And that's not necessarily a healthy view of food, even though food can be, having food with friends and company and being at parties where there's food present can be fun. It doesn't mean that food itself is fun. Food is food. Food is substance. And if I'm filling myself with the wrong kind of food, it's not, it's not fun. It's not going to be fun later on when I'm trying to fit into my pants and I'm miserable. But food can be associated with fun, but you don't have to eat it to have fun. You don't have to eat it and say, like, I need to have some fun. I'm going to go eat some chips. And really, that was me. I can have some of those things. I can have the junk food that I like, eat something that I know isn't really healthy for me. I can have those things and I can do those things. Not now while I'm on Nutrisystem, because I refuse. I'm just not. But once I ease off of it, back into my own eating plan, I can start to have those things. Eating one, meal out at a fast food restaurant with my family doesn't have to derail me for the rest of the day or the rest of the week or another month or 2 or years. I have been seriously one of those people that was doing so well, had lost 100 pounds like I told you, and I got to the point where I started feeding myself junk so much. I thought, well, I'm doing good and I'm gonna reward myself. I started gaining that weight back, and then here I am now trying to lose it all again. It's just crazy frustrating because that one piece of junk food led to another that led to another, and I kept saying, well, I'll start back on my healthy eating plan tomorrow, or I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start this morning, and then by 11 a.m. I was already off and said, forget it, I'll just try again tomorrow. And that tomorrow turned into years. You can eat those things, but don't let it derail you from your plan, from your healthy eating plan and your goals. The Bible tells us that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So we can eat what we want, but it doesn't mean that it's good for us. You can eat sugar, but you need to eat it in moderation. Eat it in what, the amounts that our body's okay and intended to eat it in, and don't go overboard. Don't do it in excess. Anything done in excess can be harmful to us, and it can create really bad habits. Irreversible damage can be done if you do things in excess for too long. So that's all I really wanted to say for today, you guys. Just keep going and spend some time thinking about what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. And pay attention to, while you're on the diet, the portions that you're eating, because you can learn when you're off of the program how much you're supposed to be eating regularly, and that will really help you. And I'll be talking a little bit more about portion control and portion sizes on my next video as well. Something that I just thought was really a crazy epiphany that I had the other day when I was eating the white bean chicken chili. So it was pretty interesting. I'll share that later. But I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. And hopefully the weather's great where you are and you're able to get outside and talk with your friends and you're able to video chat or whatever it is, but keep yourselves healthy physically and mentally. Have a great day. Bye.